It seems like Dustin Porier is the favorite because I've seen 3 polls on YouTube with more than 10,000 votes, and it was about who was going to win between Poirier and Gaethje, and the majority picked Poirier. And all three, they all picked Poirier by a massive margin, like 70%, 60%. But when it comes to rematches and predicting who's gonna win, you really want to look at what's the difference. And we've all done this in some point of our lives. We've did a spot the difference. What is the difference? And that's the same thing that you're gonna do here. Because when it comes to rematches, the fight already happened. All you need to do is look to the difference. What would be the difference between the first fight to the second fight? What are the changes that has happened? Has the other guy gotten better? Has the stakes have been raised? And the biggest difference would really be their motivation. Because when they first fought, there wasn't really much to it but climbing up the ranking and getting closer to a title shot. But now they're fighting for something different. They're fighting to get a BMF title. And for Justin Gaethje, it's not just the BMF title. It's also avenging a loss. And he truly wants to avenge this loss because he's never got an opportunity to do that. In his whole UFC career, he has had 4 losses. And now he has an opportunity to avenge his very first loss, which was against Dustin Porier. And he's also going to do it for the BMF title. That is massive motivation for anybody to avenge a loss, not just any loss, but your very first loss in the UFC. It's something special to avenge a loss. It means a lot to some fighters avenging a loss. Amanda Nunes, GSP, they all wanted to avenge a loss that they had against the guys that took it away from them, that took what they had. But the BMF title, it's the motivation that both of these guys have. Dustin Poirier may not have the motivation of avenging a loss, but he has that motivation to become a BMF champion. And this truly means a lot to Dustin Poirier. Because I feel like he didn't necessarily give up on the idea on getting an undisputed title, but more so put his focus into something else. And that is to be in the category of household names. Guys that when they are in the main card, you want to see them fight. Guys that are headlining pay-per-views or co-headlining pay-per-views. He wants to be in that category with Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, Jorge Masvidal. He wants to be in that category of guys that when they fight, you want to tune in. The category of Adesanya, John Jones, he wants to be in that position. And this means a lot to Dustin Poirier because he's never gotten something. He's never gotten something in the UFC, and he has tried twice. And that is to get a title. And I feel like he has turned his focus into that, into being in that category of guys that when they fight, you want to see them fight. And having that BMF title, that means a lot to him. Because he has never been called champion. He has never gotten an undisputed title. But now he has an opportunity to cement his name in stone. Not just to be the second guy to become a BMF champion, but maybe even the first guy to defend it. Because that is something that has never been done before. And being first, it is something that you cannot take away in the record books. You can be the greatest double champion of all time in the UFC, but you can never be the first. That will always be the guy that did it first. It will always be Conor McGregor, no matter how good you are as a double champion. If you defended that belt 50 times per division, you will never be first. And for Dustin Poirier, not winning a title and having an opportunity to get a title that fits his style of fighting, which is be a bad MFer that brings it to you every single time, that means a lot to him. But don't forget that that motivation doesn't just exist in the mind of Dustin Poirier. It's also in Justin Gaethje's mind. Because you also have a guy that's never became an undisputed champion. He has tried twice. But to be in that rarefied air of BMF champion, to be in an island, population 1, of which Jorge Masvidal sits, it is something special to be one of the guys that became a double champion. My bad, a BMF champion. When you haven't gotten that something that you wanted, which is to become an undisputed champion, most of the time you would settle for something that you can get. And for them, it is the BMF champion. It is that BMF title. Because when you have both guys that fight the way that they do, to have a title where they are solidified as the baddest MFer in the sport, it's something special. And it feels to me like the BMF title's value has surpassed an undisputed title's value in both of these guys' eyes.